YouTube lives suck on the replay. I think more important than you being perfect all the time is showing where you are vulnerable and then how you're going to address it. It's a huge, huge, huge opportunity for anybody making content in non-English language.
I want to ask you the recovery ritual, how you do when you feel like something didn't work. Hey, Evan!
How you doing, man?
Oh, very good. I feel fresh like lettuce.
Fresh like lettuce. Wow, I've never heard that expression. I like it. What time is it for you?
It's 4 a.m. in Korea.
Oh my gosh, 4 a.m.
So I needed to for myself to feel like fresh.
You have
like lettuce.
Way more energy than I do at 4 a.m.
Thank you.
So Yuski's been part of Movement Makers. It's a 1 year anniversary. Congratulations. I've seen a few of your lives every now and then. And they're in Korean, so I don't understand them. But I love the energy and enthusiasm. And it's fantastic. So here we are. We got some extra time together. How can I help? What's on your mind?
So I want to thank you so much for starting this movement making, movement maker, movement for movement makers. It's really inspiring. And thanks to this book, and I was able to kind of sharpen my why and who. And I want to thank you so much for guiding me and then actually being a role model, just stepping out of your comfort zone. It's really encouraging. You know, my one word is growth. You know, two questions that I ask myself over and over. How do I grow myself today? How can I help other people to grow? And this is what I've been interested in. So my personal growth is like personal development, and helping other people is leadership. And these are the two things that my credo under my growth have this. And then if someone else can help others to grow, I think this is going to be a great legacy to the humanity. And this is what I believe. I really feel passionate about that. And then your book, your messages get me another confirmation. So I really, really want to thank you.
Cool. I love it, man. So how can we take that deeper? How can I, what advice can I give you or perspective can I offer that can help you get to the next step this year?
So I really love what I do. I want to bring value to other people. So my questions will be on how. So I have a question. One is regarding mentorship. Another one is about affiliate partnership. And another one is about regarding team, how you hire talent. So these are like three major questions that I have and a few others, but let's get started.
Okay. Well, where do you want to start? Which one's most important?
So one is, I have 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and right now I have 1,300 on Instagram. I was shy. I didn't want to put myself in public, so I didn't use social media, but I decided to step out of my comfort zone. So for 3 years, I did YouTube, and I did 100 YouTube lives for an hour. I give 15-minute lectures on a weekly basis, and yesterday I did my 100th live. So that's what I did. So that's the current condition on my YouTube and Instagram.
And what are you talking about on the
personal development and leadership.
Okay.
So
and in Korean, right?
Mainly in Korean so far.
Okay. That's fine. So a huge opportunity, a couple things. One, I wouldn't do live on YouTube. I would stop doing live unless you're getting live is great if you want interaction. So are people leaving comments and interacting with you on YouTube?
Yes, around 30 people, 20 to 30 people on a regular basis. But
okay, but are you looking at, like, do you like the comments coming in live and you're responding to the comments that come in, or you're just talking and it doesn't matter if people are leaving comments or not?
So in the beginning, I did like comments and at the end, but right now, and every now and then, like every 5-10 minutes, I stick on something and like interact with people and back and forth. That's how I do.
Okay. So if you need the live interaction, then it's okay to go live on YouTube because you get people asking questions. But then immediately I would unlist the video and then upload it as a regular video. YouTube lives suck on the replay. So the biggest benefit of YouTube versus Instagram, other platforms, is that the content will live forever, right? That in a year, 2 years, 5 years, if you're talking about personal development, the concepts are still relevant in a year or 2 years or 5 years, right? So that's the biggest strength of YouTube. The problem when you go live is the ongoing lifespan of a live video is very poor. So the strategy should be go live if you need the live feedback, like you need people commenting, unlist the video right away, and then upload it as a regular video. And is it just you? Do you have a team? What's the structure now? Do you like anybody helping with editing, or it's all you? It's the Yunsky show.
So far, I'm a solopreneur. So I started my venture about 18 months ago. So I don't edit videos. It's like one shot.
Okay.
But I need some editor.
Yeah. So you know, that's the next step. But when you start a live stream on YouTube, how do you start it? What usually happens? Like if you're going to say it in English, what would you normally do?
This is my phrase. You know, you can choose being an ordinary day. You want to spend an ordinary day or an extraordinary day. You can choose, and we're going to make it extraordinary the next 16 minutes. And then I just dance for 30 minutes together with people. I don't see them, but I dance for 30 minutes or 30 seconds with music, and that's how I start up.
Okay, and then are you saying like, "Welcome, guys. Hey, it's Yunsky. We're going to start soon," or today I'm going to talk about, like, are you interacting with people? Or you just going in straight? Okay.
No. So since I don't have many people, I just call their names and interact in the first 5 minutes, and then I go into the lecture.
Okay, so this is fantastic. This is great. This will help you really grow your YouTube channel, because you're putting in the work. You're making 100 videos. That's so amazing. Now let's get more views on the videos. So YouTube Live sucks for getting the ongoing views. And if the video is 5 minutes of you talking to people and chit-chatting and welcoming them, that's great for the live audience, but it's really bad for the repeat audience.
Got it.
If somebody doesn't know who you are, and then they click to watch the video a month later, and it's you just talking to people, they're gone. They're not going to watch that video, right? So here's what I would do. Even in YouTube Editor, you have the option to cut the beginning of the video, and you don't have to have I don't need you to worry about editing for music and B-roll and fancy graphics, just cutting. So just cut the beginning. So what I would imagine for you, here's what I would think about. When's your next live stream, or when's your next YouTube video you're going to make?
Every Monday night.
Perfect. So next Monday night, you have 5 minutes where you're going to be doing you have your statement, you have your dancing for 30 seconds, you have your welcome, all that. After the 5 minutes is up, you go right into what's in Built to Serve, like the powerful opinion. You're going into lecture mode.
Okay.
So right into lecture mode. So 5 minutes of good, hey, everybody, woo, dancing, party, great. And then after 5 minutes, powerful opinion. And then for the YouTube video, so you're going to make it unlisted after you go live. And then that video, you're going to re-upload it and cut the first 5 minutes. Okay. So the 5 minutes is great for the live stream, but it will suck on the replay. After the 5 minutes, powerful opinion, Yunsky's teaching, that's what you lead the video with on the upload.
Got it.
So every Monday night, you stop. You still do it live. You get the interaction, 5 minutes of dancing, etc. Great. Unlisted, and then download the video, upload it again, and cut that first 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you so much. What's your opinion on keeping it like 15 minutes long, or like making it shorter videos in different parts? I don't know.
Long is great. Long is great. The biggest growth we're seeing is in the 1 to 3 hour category.
Really?
Yeah. People are going to YouTube to learn. So if you're just saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, then no, that sucks. But if you can take me deeper and teach me new things, and 50 minutes you're not repeating yourself, then yeah, 50 is great. I would not go shorter. If anything, I would go longer. If you still have ideas, you still have more to share, you still are making the time on a Monday night, then I would go longer. The other great hack, if you're doing it in Korean, is taking the English topics. So you look up, if you're doing personal development, I don't know who the personal development person is for Korea. Like, is there a Tony Robbins of Korea?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right, it's going to be you.
Yay.
Let's go. So you take all of the popular topics around personal development. So you look at whoever you look up to, if it's Tony Robbins or Brendan Burchard or whoever the people are that you love the message, and you can teach similar themes. You take the keywords. So like go to Tony Robbins' YouTube channel and go to Brendan Burchard's YouTube channel. See what they're talking about. You talk about the same things, but in Korean.
Okay.
There's a huge market for anybody. Like English is the hardest. Oh, that's the Brendan hat. He's got the Brendan hat. So I would take all of Brendan's most popular videos and use the same title and just put it in Korean. So, how to stop procrastinating. If Brendan has a video on that, you make the video, how to stop procrastinating in Korean. And it's not just sharing what Brendan says, it's your opinion and your feedback, but you're taking those topics that have done well in English, and chances are it'll do well in every language. And it's a huge, huge, huge opportunity for anybody making content in a foreign language, in non-English language. You just take the popular topics in English and make the Korean version of them.
Got it.
So if you're looking for inspiration, say, I don't know what to make a video on today or next Monday's live stream. That's what, go Brendan Burchard, most popular videos of all time, how to stop procrastinating. Then your whole stream is about how to stop procrastinating.
Okay. Got it. Awesome. We'll do that.
Yeah.
And Evan, I see you interviewing a lot of thought leaders. This is on the top level, you do that. So, if you think about it as a person, from my point of view, I want to get to that point at some point. But as I start off, I want to invite people and interview them. Not your 10 rules, but interviewing in person. So my point is, when you reach out to them, how do you do that? Do you my question is, do you pay them or find a win-win way, or is there some creative way how you get connected to those people?
So I don't pay anybody to be on my channel. Next week I'm interviewing Tony Robbins for the third time on my channel now. He's got a new book out around health, Life Force. And so he just sent it to me yesterday. It's 550 pages, a giant book. And so he's coming out for the third time to talk about it. I guess I could have offered him a certain amount of money at the beginning, but really, why is he coming on? Well, because we're going to have a great conversation that helps promote the book, right? So one of my early mentors used an analogy of pulling sweaters. So imagine you're in line and you're pulling the sweater of the person ahead of you in line to get to the front of the line. And so the way to start is not think about Tony Robbins. The way to start is to think about who's the C-level player, get a bunch of those people that then let you get to the B-level player, then let you get to the A-level player. So the two opportunities I think for you are, one, inside of Korea, who are the people who are starting to make a name for themselves that maybe you can have on your channel. It's an opportunity because personal development channels in Korean, there aren't that many compared to English. So if they're trying to target the Korean market, you have one of the only channels, even if you don't have 1 million subscribers, you have one of the only channels talking about this. They're likely going to want to come on your show. And then two, as the world opens up, where are you? Are you in Seoul or where are you in Korea?
Yes, I'm in Seoul right now.
Perfect. I would look at whatever the biggest convention center is. Where are most of the events where there's speakers coming in?
I could think of a few places. It can be a hotel, but there's a convention center downtown in Seoul.
Perfect. Whatever the biggest convention center is, look at their every day they have events going on, especially weekends. They have even with COVID, it's opening up, right? It's not where we want it to be, but it's starting to open up. I would look at the convention center in Seoul for their calendar of events that are happening, anywhere from a week to a month in advance, and see who the people are who are coming in to speak.
Oh.
So there might be some yoga conference, and there are some interesting yoga people coming in, maybe from North America, or maybe from France, or maybe from China, or maybe from wherever. They're interested in the Korean market, and they're coming to do the event, but they're always looking for additional media and additional exposure opportunities.
I see.
So while they're there, they're already in Korea. They're already coming. You're already in Seoul to say, hey, I'm here. You're here. Do you want to do an interview talking about X? because it's catching people at the right time, right? So Tony is doing interviews now because he's promoting his book. Once he's done with the book, he's going back and speaking and doing his events and a million other things. And he's not doing any interviews. Like he will show up nowhere, right? Because he's too busy running his business. So same thing. If people are already coming to Seoul to talk about whatever they're talking about, some kind of speaking gig at this convention, then to spend 5 minutes, like break, 5-minute trip. Like if you book a room in the hotel that they can just go to and then spend half an hour with you talking about X, Y, Z, right? That's an easy way to get a yes because they're already in promotion mode.
I see.
So I think I've seen it happen over and over and over and over again. Small channels win just because they were in the right place at the right time.
I see.
And so
wow, I never thought about it.
Be strategic about it. Yeah, and for everybody watching too, same thing. If you have a channel, I used to do this. I'm in Toronto. It's a major city. I don't think it's as big. How many people are in Seoul? Seoul's bigger. Yeah,
7 million. No.
Yeah.
Up to 10 million, I think. It's pretty big. I mean, Korea is tiny, but Seoul is, a lot of people live in Seoul.
We've got, I want to say like 4 million or something in the bigger Toronto area, but biggest city in Canada, huge, when people are doing tours, they often will stop by Toronto. And so it's an easy spot to say, hey, you're already here. You're already doing a book tour. You're already promoting your thing. Do you want to stop by my place or we can come to you and do an interview with you about your book as well? Because they're trying to line up as many things as possible. No, but they don't want to just fly to Korea, do one speaking gig, and then go home. They want to do multiple things, right? And so that's where you could be one extra thing. And if you also have any connections to, like, you can make partnerships with local radio stations or other channels and be their friend to say, hey, I can come on my show and I can also get you on this radio show and this other channel and an interview in a newspaper, so that all of a sudden you're the guy everybody's coming to for Korea connections and they're not wasting their time. Like they're getting paid to go to do this event, but it's if someone's coming from North America to Korea, that's a long flight.
Yes.
So they'd rather spend an extra couple hours doing lots of different opportunities beyond just doing the one speaking gig and then going home.
I see. So did you invite Tony or he just wanted to speak on your stage?
So the first time we were connected to Tony through his PR agency, and it took 3 years to get my first interview with Tony.
Wow.
Since then, the last one and then this one, his team just reaches out and said, hey, Tony wants to do another promotion for whatever book. Can he come on? Like, yes, he can come on. Let's go. Give me the book and let's have a conversation. So what starts to happen is I would do outreach to the people who are coming, who are in promotion mode, because that's the advantage. Like, you're in a disadvantage in general. Like, why would Tony now want to come on your channel now, a Korean only channel? It's too challenging. But if he's coming to Korea, now it's a lot more interesting. So we start targeting the people who are already coming to the convention center. Then what starts to happen is people talk, right? So a lot of the interviews that I get now is because Tony's team talked to somebody else, and they say, hey, you should go on Evan's show. You get added to the roster, right? So people are going to do an interview with you, say, oh my God, this Yusuke guy has so much energy. He was great. What an amazing interview. He put it up and asked great questions. Maybe you teach them a little bit of Korean so they know how to say a couple words to end, all that kind of fun stuff. And then it does two things. One, the next time they're going to come, they're thinking of you because of the great experience they had the first time. And then two, when anybody asks them about, hey, what should I do when I go to Korea? They say, oh, you should talk to Yusuke and go on his show.
I see.
So I've done it enough times now that the name just starts to spread. The word of mouth starts to spread. And then people are emailing me to say, hey, I'm launching my book coming up. Like, we just had Tom Bilyeu on. Lisa Bilyeu is coming up soon. We've had lots of people on because the word of mouth just starts to spread. But at the beginning, you do the outreach to people. And again, the easiest way is through people coming through the convention center.
I see. Can I have a follow-up question regarding this?
Yeah.
I saw you promoting Mel Robbins' book, The High Five Habits, and also you promoting Brandon's Growth Day. Was it a like affiliate partnership or friendship, or like helping each other like promote their like new thing? How does it work in your world?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of affiliate stuff. It's definitely a model, but it's not really how I've monetized my business. Mel and Brendan are both friends now, and so I wanted to help them, right? And just even saying that, if I look at me 10 years ago to say, yeah, I can just text Brendan or text Mel, and you know, it just, the people who I looked up to are now friends. You know, now I'm not friends with Tony Robbins yet, right? I mean, I'm not texting Tony and saying, "Hey, Tony, how's the weekend going? Who are you cheering for in the Super Bowl or whatever?" But a bunch of people have become friends over the process, and as you keep hanging around in the circles, you develop better relationships. So Mel and Brendan, I want to support them. You know, so it's same thing with Lisa coming up in her book, and Tom we just had on talking about his NFT project. I'm not getting a cut of sales from Tom's NFT project. It was more, I love this guy. I want to help. And that karma kind of comes back, right? Like if I need help with something, I've got a whole bunch of people that I can reach out to and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can you help? So affiliate can be a model. It's just not one that I heavily lean in on.
Okay, great. So another question is regarding team. You make so many videos, like over 1,000 videos a year, right? So you probably have teams to work on it. So if you were me in my position, where would you start? Like I've been since like.
Yeah. So listen, we've got 37, 38 people on the team. And so it's a little like use that as inspiration to say what could happen, but not as comparison to say, oh my gosh, I suck because I don't have, you know, people on my team. At the beginning, it was all me. I did everything, right? I mean, it was me editing, me scripting, me researching, me filming, me everything. The first person I hired that made the biggest difference was an editor. So even a part-time editor, because it was also the thing I enjoyed the least. I don't like editing. It's not fun for me. Some people love it. Great, go do it. But the idea of editing a video for me was just not interesting at all. And so being able to go and hire an editor part-time moved me from a video a week to 3 videos a week to 7 videos a week. You know, like that was the thing. Now, I also made it more difficult on myself that I thought I had to have it edited, where I think what you're doing is great in that just go and film. You know, I was in my head too much. I should have just gone and filmed regardless. But editor would be the first hire, probably. Like whatever needs to get done that you like the least is the position that you should hire for. Now, maybe you hire and you can afford to, you know, hire somebody. And again, it can be part-time. It doesn't have to be somebody full-time working for you. Or it could be an exchange of services where if you're all about growth and investing into people and personal development, maybe there's a young video editor who you can coach and they edit your videos and you coach them in life. You know, I love making barter arrangements where it makes sense.
I see. Wow. Yeah, that's a great idea. So thank you so much. Wow.
What's the alarm going off? Is that when you normally waking up? Or?
No, because I was informed that you had 25 minutes. So I have this Google timer. This is my personal assistant. So I wanted to be respectful to your time. So
well, you woke up at 4 a.m. So if there's anything else, we can go a little longer. If there's anything else in your mind that you need some perspective on.
Yes.
What time did you actually wake up for this, by the way? So it starts at 4. When did you wake up?
Oh, I didn't go to bed. So I took a 1-hour nap. I took a 1-hour nap and then I just got myself ready because, you know, this is a rare opportunity. I wanted to. So I was able to read your book again and then get some notes. There's only 5 pages. And I was ready for.
So you're going to go to bed after this. Okay, cool. Well, that's a lot of energy for 4 a.m. I love it. And anything else on your mind, quick that I can answer for you?
Yes. You mentioned that you hate disappointing people. That's why you, it's a mindset question. I want to ask you the recovery ritual, how you do when you feel like something didn't work, or like those moments, somewhere in your videos, I saw that still comes in, but you recover faster. You remind yourself something while you do this, but I wanted to ask you the personal, like, kind of ritual in your mind, how you get recovered.
So I don't end up disappointing people. Like, it's more of a fear. I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint people, but I usually I can't even think of one like, oh, I really disappointed that person. Right. If this was 10 years ago and we were doing this, I mean, Instagram Live didn't exist, but let's say it did, or 10 years ago, Evan, I would have seen Yunsky in my calendar. I would have agreed to it like 2 months prior. Like, oh, Yunsky, yeah, we'll do that in 2 months, no problem. And then I would see you in my calendar for the day, and I would secretly hope that you would cancel on me. I would hope I hope Yunsky cancels on me. Like, it's late for, I would come up with all these reasons, right? It's really late for him. It's 4 a.m. Maybe I won't have great answers. I don't know. I didn't sleep well last night. Like, I come up with all these reasons why I hope that you would cancel. And I'd check my email, 10 times during the day, waiting for the dear Evan, sorry, I can't make it. And then like, oh, great. Underneath all of that is really just a fear that I wouldn't be able to help, that you would come on and we would talk and I wouldn't have an answer to help you with whatever you're asking for helping, because I'd be afraid of disappointing you. And if people are watching, the public as well. And I remember one time there was this one woman who I was going to meet at a Starbucks, startup entrepreneur. And this was the life-changing kind of aha moment for me. I was secretly hoping she would cancel on me. Like it was like a 2:00 meeting. So at 9, I checked my email, and at 10 and 11 and 12 and then 1 and then 1:45. And like, okay, she hasn't canceled on me. So I'm not going to cancel on her because that's even more disappointment. So I'm going to go and show up. And we had a fantastic session, just life-changing conversation for her at the Starbucks. And I remember getting back into my car. I'm feeling on top of the world. Like, this is why I do what I do, right? Like, I love pointing to people. It's just so good. And then I sat back and realized, oh my God, I feel so great right now. But a couple hours ago, I was hoping that she would cancel on me, that this thing would never have happened. And so I had to really dissect that and realize I need to catch these things and move towards it. So I need to, next time I find myself in fear of disappointing people, I have to go off and do the thing and stop sabotaging. So it shows up when, the Tony Robbins interview, it took a year to get him to a yes, just because of timing and everything. Not that like he was super busy and timing didn't work out. It took a year to get to a yes. And then on the day of the interview, again, I hope Tony Robbins cancels. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I'm not sleeping the night before. What am I going to ask Tony Robbins? This is insane. Here we go. And then like 15 minutes before the interview, he cancels.
Really?
Yep. And then not him, like his team. Sorry, Evan. Oh my gosh, Tony is just crazy, super busy. He's so sorry. We can't do it. Let's try to find another time. And the only thing worse, and like, that sucked. I would have rather gone and done the interview and sucked than to have the interview be canceled, right? So it took then 2 years to get him to come back on for timing and scheduling everything else.
I see.
So that fear of disappointing people, I don't remember a time where I've actually disappointed somebody. It was just more fear. So the recovery isn't there because it never happens, but it's just the fear that it will happen.
So recognizing the fear that's not real.
Yeah, it's all the excuses, right? Like all the reasons, and they're legitimate reasons. Like if I message you and said, Yunsky, it's 4 a.m. It's too early for you. Let's find another day or something. Or if I said, hey man, I'm really busy today or something, it's understandable. Okay, we'll find another time. But really underneath it would have just been, I'm just afraid. I'm just afraid of letting people down. And so for me, it's not about recovery after disappointing people. For me, it's about getting myself to do the thing that I'm afraid of, which is where it's like the push and the hug. At the end of the day, even if I'm disappointing I'm sure I've disappointed some people along the way, but it's always, you can always make it up. You know, like that's what I tell myself. Like if we came on this IG live and I didn't have answers for you and I just disappointed you like crazy, and you're like, man, that Evan Carmichael is a piece of garbage or whatever. You know, I mean, first off, that would destroy me. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. It would eat me up all day. But I know that I could always find a way to make it up to you. Like I would not sleep until I found a way to make it up to you. And I could do it. Like I could find something that I'd be able to do it. And so even if you do worst case disappoint somebody, there's always a way to recover from it. I see. And so that's what I told myself. But it almost never happens. I can't think of the last time that it actually happened. But the fear of worrying that it will happen is the bigger problem.
I see. That's great. Great. Wow. Thank you so much. It really resonates with me. Amazing. Evan, you've been doing this YouTube and this whole business for so long. Are there, like, if you could highlight one or two, like, biggest lessons that you've learned from some of the mistakes you made?
Focusing too much on being perfect at the beginning really hurt me. And so the thing that the only strength that I had was that I just kept going. But I struggled with the same things that a lot of people struggled with. It's like, oh, it needs to be edited. I know, and my editing skills suck, and I need to have the right lighting. What camera should I use, and all that stuff. And the first 350 videos, I couldn't watch myself back. I was too embarrassed by myself on camera. But I just kept going. Like the only thing I had going for me is that I just kept going. I just kept going. I just kept going. That's the only thing. I'm not more talented. I'm not smarter. You know, I'm shy and introverted. I had all these things that on paper were kind of against me, but I just kept making videos. And so that's why I'm here. You know, April 2009 was my first video. So however many years later that is. But it took me, 5 years to get to 7,000 subscribers or something like that. And it didn't need to, like I could have gone there faster. If I asked for help, if I wasn't stuck on having to be a certain way, if I did one more rep and one more practice and was a little bigger in my thinking or my asking, which is all the lessons that I'm trying to teach inside Movement Makers. It's like, hey, I wish I had Movement Makers when I was first getting started on making content, because everybody can get here. I just don't want it to have to take you 12 years, 13 years to get here, because most people will quit sooner. It was very lonely. I did everything myself. Even when I had a team, it's still just me. So things like the challenge inside Movement Makers, connecting to other people who are doing it. We had our clubhouse last night for the people who finished the challenge. And I said, with Movement Makers, like 1 + 1 equals not 2, but like 1,000, because the energy to be with other people, even if they're on different missions, people sign up to get, like, why do you sign? Well, I want to grow my audience. I want to grow my influence. I want to grow my impact. I want to grow my business. But it ends up being that, plus you get to have an impact on so many other people, that by doing a collaboration with them or cheering them on or encouraging them at the right time, that helps make the difference for them too. So whether it's Movement Makers or something else, just being a part of a group where it's not just you going off and doing everything yourself, because as motivated and inspired and happy and everything that you are right now at 4 a.m., in Korea, there's still days when you wake up, it's like, what am I doing? And the energy isn't as positive, and you question things, and you don't have the motivation that you wish you had. And there's probably not a lot of great people around you saying, hey, come on, let's go. Yunsky, you said you're going to do this, do it. And if you have those people, amazing, like hold on to them. And if not, then go find people who help bring that for you. Because when you feel like you're doing it with somebody else, when you have people not just holding you accountable, but who understand you, and it's like a family, you're just more likely to show up because you'll disappoint yourself, but you don't want to disappoint other people. And so saying, hey, I'll show up for that. Like here you are, 4 a.m. because you said you're going to be here to talk with me. The more that we have that kind of baked into our daily life with other people, the more likely we're going to follow through. So I didn't have enough of that. It took me way too long to ask for help, to seek guidance. And so I really struggled through it. And you can see it in the numbers of how, slowly my channel grew. The only thing I had going for me was that I just kept going.
That's amazing. You just talked about motivation, and somewhere you mentioned about Tom Bilyeu, that he had a list of people who said no to him, and he kind of uses that as a fuel to motivate himself. But you said, like, you don't need to be in that dark side too long. It may help you. How do you personally motivate yourself? As you mentioned, when you wake up, you're not always motivated, and how you get yourself back.
Yeah. So this is where I differ from Tom, and you use what works for you, right? I mean, maybe you love what Tom says, maybe you love what I say, but when I'm not motivated, I will lean in not on whoever told me that I sucked and wants me to fail. If it's my old English teacher, or I can't even think of the people who told me I suck and want me to fail. But that doesn't inspire me. Like I'm not here to build my business to prove somebody wrong. Like if you say here, Evan, you suck and you're never going to build anything. Okay. Like I'm not building my thing to prove Yunsky wrong. Right. That doesn't get I like being competitive, but that doesn't get my competitive juices going. The thing that I lean in on is one, that I do difficult things, right? That when I feel tired, like if I was looking at this, like, okay, I'm going to stay up till 4 a.m. Let's go. I do difficult things. I want to show myself that I take on those challenges. And two is the service that it's not just for me, it's to help other people as well. And anytime I'm afraid of what I'm about to do, Tony Robbins, I'm going to be nervous for the Tony Robbins interview in 2 weeks, right? I've already had him on twice. He's the easiest interview of all time. Like, you could ask him anything and he'll have a fantastic story about it and talk for 7 minutes. It's not an awkward conversation, right?
That's true.
But I'm still going to be nervous about it. And I'll still lean in on that I do difficult things and that I'm here to serve. Like, what's the point of talking to Tony? It's because he's got a message that I want to try to share with my audience. I want to try to pull out stories that maybe he hasn't told somewhere else that can inspire people. And that gets me going a lot more. So if I felt like showing up and talking to you would help people, I'm more likely to do it than if somebody told me, you'll never talk to Yunsky, or you're a giant failure, or whatever, right? So I lean in much more on the service side of trying to help than of I'm going to go prove this person wrong. So that's me personally. The go side is more that I do difficult things. Like I want to challenge myself. The fact that it's difficult makes me want to go off and do it. More to prove to myself who I am, not to prove to my mom or the media or somebody else. And every time I face that lack of motivation, it's not 100-0 between those two things, and the hug and the push. It's a mix. Some days I need more, like, okay, Evan, you do difficult things. Like, let's go. Like if I was really tired right now, if I'm you and I'm really tired right now, maybe the service isn't enough. Maybe I can't connect to it. Maybe I can't see how it's going to help people. So it's just, okay, I don't care. I do difficult things. So I'm going to show myself I can do this, period. Let's go. So that's like 90% push and 10% hug. And some days it's the flip. I'll lean in on both and I'll see which one is actually having a bigger impact. And then that's what I go full steam on. But the having the list just never inspired me to prove to somebody else what I can do.
I see. Thank you. It gives me some freedom that I can choose. I don't have to exactly copy someone's model, that I can find my own balance. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I mean, you play with it. That's the idea, is that you don't want to be the next Tom Bilyeu or Evan Carmichael or whoever. You want to be the best Yunsky, and you take different things from different people and see what fits. Now, even to Tom's point about he finds that really inspiring for him to go to the dark side. He doesn't want to live there either, right? So he's only going there for really short periods of time where he's remembering that person who wants him to fail. He doesn't want to, that's not the reason why he has his business and why he does what he does.
Yes.
So like the reason why you do what you do can't be to prove somebody else wrong. Like that's just living in a negative energy. So even though he goes there for those moments, he doesn't live there. And he'll do it like he's hacked himself, which I think is great. Like to get himself to work out more. He hates the gym, doesn't like to work out. So he'll imagine somebody's coming and like kidnapping or beating up his wife.
Oof.
And that motivates him to push harder in the gym. Right?
I see.
Because he wants to be able to beat up the guy who's beating up his wife. Right? So
I can't imagine
in those
that
moments, like on the last two sets when he's got no more energy, it's like somebody's beating up Lisa, so I'm gonna push harder, right? And it works for him and it gives him the energy. So that's awesome. It's just identifying what actually works for you. I don't get a lot of power from the negative side. So I had to find hacks that work for me.
Great. Evan, you've learned from so many different thought leaders, and I cannot even watch all the videos, but among all the messages, what impacted your personal life or your business the most? Can you think of some of the things that actually impacted your personal life?
Yeah. I mean, my parents, the biggest message is still believe. You're Evan Castrilli Carmichael. You do anything you believe that you can. And all I'm doing is taking the energy from my parents and pouring it into entrepreneurs. Because they're not entrepreneurs, but they taught me how to be human values. And I just try to pour more belief into the world. And what that leads to is, that's a very kind of philosophical, values-based conversation, but then it leads to strategy and tactics in that, okay, so it means content I put up has to be positive. If I put up the 10 stupidest things about whoever, the 10 biggest fails of whoever, and
it's going to go viral.
Yeah, it would do better. Like 10 worst mistakes of Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or whoever, right? People love seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
That would go viral. That would blow up my channel more. I just don't want to make it because it's anti-belief. That's not what I want to. That's not the energy I want to put out into the world.
I see.
So it's taking the values from my parents and putting that into an entrepreneur 2022 context. So yeah, everything that I pull different things from different people, right? Like I've got Steve Jobs on the wall here, and I don't want to be a parent. I don't want to be a father like Steve Jobs, right? Because I mean, I don't know. I don't know personally, but it didn't sound like he was a fantastic father. I love my dad, and I want to be a dad. Like he's my role model for what a father should be. But at the same time, I don't want to be a visionary like my dad because my dad's not a visionary, but that guy is, So it's pulling different things from different people. Everybody that I've learned, everybody that I profile on my channel, I've learned something from. It's like, I need it for me. And then I share it with the world. So there are lessons that I picked up myself that then I want to try to spread out as well. But at the end of the day, it still all comes down to the change that you want to have on the world. And that's believe, which came from my parents.
Got it. It's very powerful. That one word you mentioned. And thank you for acting on it. It gives me believe in myself. So it really helped.
And that's, I think, the greatest gift of all, right? Like if your one word is growth and you're helping people grow every day, and then somebody comes to you and says, Yunsky, because of your videos or your content or your speech, it's making me grow more. Like that's the greatest compliment anybody can give you.
And I find great joy in that meaning.
Yeah.
Wow. Another side question.
Yeah.
The hoodie you wear, can I purchase it and have it shipped to Korea?
Yeah, this has been.
To keep this belief
I know.
in me and spread it in Korea.
I know. I need. So this has been like a borderline issue for a long time. People want this hoodie, and the problem is, this is not a normal hoodie, right? Because it has the gold on the inside and the gold drawstrings and like the gold under the arm. Like if it was just a black hoodie and put a logo on it, that's easy, right? There's lots of companies that can ship it. This hoodie is hard to get. So people have been asking for it, and I just haven't put the energy into doing it because I need to basically set up a facility here to make it happen. And I've just been focused on my YouTube channel, my NFT projects, and my team and other things. But I appreciate the extra push.
You should put that on your Wednesday project day that you make the hoodie for your subscribers and followers and movement makers.
I've got other things on my Wednesday project day. That's the problem. But I appreciate every time I hear it. Paul Wilps is saying, "Let us see the hoodie." Yeah, every time I hear it again, it's like, okay, it's an extra little push to often do it. I could send hoodies out with just the logo and like the logo on the back, right? But it's not the actual one. And you know, anyway, so I'm a little bit closer now because of your push to make it happen.
Wow, that would be great. If that comes out to the market, then I will know that we had this conversation.
Then you were the man. You were the man who helped me grow to get to the point where we released them. Yeah.
I see.
Cool,
how old is your son right now?
12.
12. If you could think of like a few core values that you would like transplant in his heart, what would those values be?
I think the most important one is still believe. You know, like the same lessons my parents taught me, that's what I'm trying to instill as much as possible. We do an activity where before he goes to bed every night, I say Carmichael's can do, and he says anything, right? And that's part of our kind of nightly tradition that, hey, Carmichael's can do anything. You can do anything. And so how do you actually make that happen? Well, just saying it is not enough. It's you living it. I think kids learn a lot more from watching you live more than the lessons you're telling them, right? So every time he sees me doing something difficult, anytime he sees me doing something that's serving, anytime he sees me being afraid and then going off and doing it, I think helps instill that belief in himself as well to be the model. So that's one. The other one that I'm very consciously trying to pay attention to is whatever he wants to do is awesome. So people ask me like, hey, is your son going to be an entrepreneur? I don't know. I don't care. Yeah. Like as long as he's happy. If he wants to be an entrepreneur, great. If he wants to go be a university professor or, anything, great. I'm happy. As long as he's happy. Like, are you happy? Yes. Perfect. Then I'm happy. And it's another lesson from my parents who, they're not entrepreneurs, but they encouraged us always, whatever our hobbies were, interests were. I love baseball cards when I was 12, 13. And my parents would drive me every weekend 3 hours out of town to go to a baseball card show where I would make $50, selling baseball cards. Like we spent more on gas to get there and back than I would make, but it was more to encourage my creativity. And me, I have two sisters, one older, one younger. And all three of us have done all sorts of crazy different things that are not what my parents did. And I really appreciate that. So I'm really just trying to be the parents that my parents were. I'm trying to be the father that my parents were for me. So my son is into Minecraft. So I play Minecraft with him. I never played Minecraft before him. My son is into drawing. So I suck at drawing, but we're drawing eyeballs together and trees and whatever. And I think that gives them, encouragement. And I think you could teach all of the life lessons through any like how you teach your kids is not sitting down and doing a speech to saying, okay, here's what you're doing wrong and here's what you're doing right. It's through any activity. Like you could teach through any activity just because that's how you're living. So, how do you deal with failure? Okay, well, in Minecraft, I suck at it. I'm getting a little better now that I've had a little experience, but I'm nowhere as good as he is or lots of people because I'm not putting the hours in. But in Minecraft, I build up my character and then I die, and I lose all my stuff and I can't get back and I don't know where it is. And I'm basically starting over, So like, okay, here we go. We're starting over, right? Like, how do you bounce back after failure? Now we're teaching life lessons through Minecraft. I'm not taking my computer and throwing it out the window and smashing my monitor and swearing and going crazy. Like, I can't believe I lost my netherite pickaxe to that stupid zombie and, freaking out. Like, okay, that happened. So how do we bounce back? Well, here we go. Carmichaels can't do anything. I'm starting over from scratch. Let's go. Right. And I think those are the lessons. And so you could teach through anything where I think, a lot of parents try to teach us through speeches. So I don't know that I would have naturally thought of that. I think that's just really a credit to my parents. They always took an interest in what I cared about. They didn't really care about baseball cards or anything like that, but because I did, now they did. And that fostered the environment for me to thrive. And so trying to create that for my son is something. It's so easy for me to do the stuff I love, right? Like, I don't want to play Minecraft. I want to play League of Legends. I want to do something else. But okay, you care about Minecraft? Okay, let me learn Minecraft. Let's do this together. And man, it's a constant reminder to fight. Like, I only have the one son, but also have nieces and nephews, and the ones who are most like you are the ones who are easiest to get along with because you love doing the same things and they think the same way. The ones who are different are the hardest to not just get along with, but manage, and always get in trouble. And so it's like, okay, instead of trying to force them to be like you, how can you dive into their world and understand them? My niece is into K-pop like crazy. So I'm discovering K-pop and finding songs and learning about the artists. And I don't understand the language, but now I've got a whole bunch of Korean songs on my playlist because of my niece. And,
I need to get into BTS too because my daughter loves BTS. I wasn't paying too much attention, but thanks to you, I got to remember the people's names.
Yeah, and BTS. Well, BTS is breaking up, right? Isn't BTS breaking up? I wouldn't have known that stuff, but it allows. So in talking about Korean music, it allows a point of context to teach about life. Like you could teach life through everything, through Korean K-pop, through Minecraft, through anything that they're interested in. And so it's a lot easier to do that. And maybe there's other ways, but that's how my parents taught me. So I'm just trying to pay that forward. And I think they were right.
I can teach my daughter how this interview went, how I was fearful, maybe even may cancel this interview. But Evan also felt that way when he was interviewing Tony Robbins. I can teach my daughter about this whole interview situation that I showed up at 4 a.m. and then it actually happened and it was fabulous.
Yeah, I think maybe, a good point to end on is I didn't expect to talk about parenting stuff, in this interview, but it's great. I think showing your vulnerabilities, I think is fantastic. I think more important than you being perfect all the time is showing where you are vulnerable and then how you're going to address it. So I think showing your daughter that you were afraid to do this interview and that you might have wanted to cancel and you didn't know what questions to ask, and whatever is actually in your mind, saying that, like, hey, I'm afraid to do this thing. And then seeing you do it. Like, hey, we did it. I stayed up till 4. I asked the questions. We went twice as long as we were supposed to. Like because that, I think, is more inspiring than I think a lot of times what happens is if the parents seem to be perfect, then the kids feel like they don't measure up to say, well, how did dad do that? Like, how is he not scared? Because I'm scared. I'm scared doing this. And he always seemed to have all the answers. Where really, nobody has all the answers. And we're all just trying to figure it out as best we can. And so I think showing those insecurities and showing how you're addressing them instead of hiding them and pretending to be perfect because you want them to whatever, like you, respect you, you're embarrassed or shamed, whatever. I think actually gives them better tools to say, okay, well, dad was nervous to go do that and he did it. So I'm nervous to get in front of my class and do a presentation on my science project, but he did it. So I'm going to do it too. Like, I think that's actually, again, leading by example and knowing the backstory. That's the most inspiring thing that you can do for your kids.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for the time, the love.
Thank you so much.
Movement Makers, great to have you. I hope you get some sleep.
Yes, I'm going to go to bed now.
Now it's 5 a.m. I don't know if you can go right to sleep after this, but I appreciate everything you're putting in, and I'm super excited to see with more energy and strategies, applied to your channels, how many more people you're going to help grow.
Yeah, I'm going to apply the things that you mentioned and then see how my channel grows. Thank you so much for your wisdom and advice and joy. Thank you so much. I know
you will. Thank you, Yinsky. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. That video is going to tank on your channel. Do you have the marketing plan book?
No.
No? Okay, perfect.
My audience. Easy to route.
That's what we're going to do.
I know I can do it.